Hello, welcome to Tuesday. I am so excited to talk with you today. So I thought that I would chat with you about some things that have come up in a private client group of mine, where actually in the amplification project that you'll remember I was talking about recently. So for some of the people who are in there, they've done some marketing stuff before. Some of them are brand new to marketing themselves and are finding that kind of uncomfortable. And throughout a conversation that we had yesterday, it became apparent, it was kind of interesting that there was this conversation around niching, right? So the concept of niching is not anything that's new. If you're in the States, sometimes you might say niching. I guess that the big thing that I wanted to talk with you about first and foremost, actually, let me just get my, oh gosh, it looks like I'm naked. That's unfortunate. Let's bring that down a little bit. I'm just getting my computer ready so that I can just type in here. Who's coming on? Who's on here? I can see someone's listening live, but I can't see who that is. Hey, it's Kylie. Hello. All right, so let me go in here. Okay, so number one, we are myth busting, niching, right? So if you're, as I was saying, like if you're in the States, you might say niching. Some people say niche. Some people say ideal client. Some people say ideal client avatar. There are so many different things going around. But if I say niching, you know what I mean, right? I used to say ideal perfect client. Now I'm just like, I don't need to have, hey Blake, I don't need to have my own name for it. It's just like, who the fuck do you want to work with? Like, that's kind of my thing. So the first thing about niche busting, myth busting niching is, for me, I believe that niching is more about you than it is about them. Yeah, boom. So what I mean by that is that many people get really confused, confronted. They feel like they have to almost kind of like segment themselves out or away from people that they might help. So for example, if I'm suggesting to you to do a niching exercise, a lot of the time what will happen is that we'll say, all right, so like who is it that you want to work with? What are their problems, what are their struggles? What are they dealing with on a daily basis? And then on the other hand, like what are their goals, dreams, desires? How do they want to look? How do they want to feel? What do they want to experience, right? So we've kind of got this, this polarizing, looking for a piece of paper, Nicola, polarizing or polar opposites, right? So in order to create conversation with people, we really want to know what their problems are, right? So we've got their problems, so that the sad face, now this is actually, I want this to be mirrored around. So this is going to be a little bit like a niching masterclass. Okay, so we've got the sad people over here. They're like really not very happy. Like these are their problems. And then what are their goals, dreams, and desires, right? So problems, and we'll say goals / wants. Okay, so we've got that down and really clear. Now that's really great. So sometimes, what I then usually get people to do is go, all right, so once you've got that down, I want to understand a lot more about your audience. Okay, I really want to understand about your audience. Now, what I mean by that is I want to know who they are, how old they are, and things like that. And this is where people often can become a little bit confused, a little bit stuck, a little bit overwhelmed, or feel like they're kind of pushing half or all of their market out. Now, if you were thinking about your ideal client, right? Your ideal client, your avatar, your niche, your whatever, And I say to you, all right, I want you to get an image in your head of who this person is, what they're about, what they look like, how old they are, and things like that. That is to help you. All right. This is solely to help you. It is not actually anything really. And what I mean by that, it's not actually really about you saying to somebody, if they come in and you've envisaged and created a woman as someone that you might want to work with, or a man, for example. I'm not going to say to you, well, all right, if someone comes to you who is of a different gender to what you've got in this, then it doesn't mean that you can't work with them, right? A lot of people think, oh, but these people aren't my niche. It's not my ideal client. Or my ideal client is someone who is 35 years old with 2 children, but the person that's coming to me is 25 years old and is single. Or you've got someone who might be, hey, Joe, you know, someone, maybe a gentleman who's 45 years old, who's happily married to his second wife, you know, just because they don't fit in that exact little narrow inch wide, mile deep niche that you've kind of prescribed in your head doesn't mean that you can't help them. So I don't want you to be discounting that. And it's the same thing for the people that might interact on your Facebook Lives. It's the same thing for the people that follow you on Instagram. The same thing, the people who connect with you on LinkedIn, perhaps. You know, it's not about saying, well, no, sorry, they don't fit in my niche. I'm not going to talk to them, or my marketing mustn't be working, right? My marketing's not working. We're going to completely catastrophize. Hey, Chantal, catastrophize. It's gone to shit. It's gone to hell in a handbasket. It's not even working anymore. No, it doesn't mean that. So what happens when we're marketing, right? And if we think about humans, we've actually got multi-facets. So this is a disco ball. Okay, it's particularly fabulous, I know. If I see photos of this on the internet without my name on it, I'm going to be really happy. Not happy even. So you might have someone who, let's say that they are a female, 35 years old. Let's say that they're already reasonably healthy, but they want to be fitter and stronger. Let's say that you're a personal trainer. Okay, so you're a personal trainer, and your market is someone. I know this is backside. I know this is back to front. You'll just have to deal with it. And your market is a female 35-year-old who wants to be fitter and stronger, okay? Now, you'll go and do the work of where their problems lie, what's their self-talk, what are their frustrations. You know, for me, it might have been like, wow, you know what, I'm going to the gym, but I don't feel like I'm improving. Or I go to the gym and I see this big improvement in the short term, but then it doesn't seem to be sustainable. Or, you know what, I already look after myself and I don't know how to be like the next version of me, right? So that might be the problems that I work through if I was this person. Now, I'm not 35 years old at the moment. So if I came to you, you're putting out all this content, you're talking to that person. If I said to you, oh, hey, you know, I'd really love some help becoming fitter and stronger, and these are my goals, and then you said, oh, sorry, you're not 35, I can't work with you, that would be almost like cutting your nose off to spite your face. Yeah? So we don't want to do that. So the thing with niching, and the reason that I still teach niching to this very day, is it's not about them per se. Okay? So it's not about your niche that you're talking to, in the sense of that. It's more to help you and to help your brain. So the reason for that is that we've got this really big demand from us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people who are required to create content every single day, right? We've got to be messaging every day. We've got to be putting content out every day. Social media is a hungry hippo that needs to be fed constantly. There is kind of no let up. And the risk that you run of not creating content on a daily basis is that your audience will actually just forget who you are if you're not posting, right? They've got so much going on in their news feed when they open up their Facebook feed, or they open up their Instagram feed, or they open up whatever. And you know what it's like, right? You'll sometimes you'll be flicking through and you're like, oh, there's that person. I haven't seen them in ages. So if you're not posting regular content, you run the risk of you not even being seen, right? Which is a very opposite. It's a polar opposite of being visible. So we've got to create content. So the reason that I teach niching actually is to make your content creation simpler and easier and more simple. With ease is the word that I was looking for. So what I do some days is like my content creation process generally goes like this. I'll have an idea and I might print it out, because it's usually while I'm out and about and I've got my phone handy, and I'll go into the notes section and I'll, type, speed type in there, and then I'll come home and I'll print off the note. And it's like, okay, cool. So, if I'm talking about like niche busting, for example, it's like, all right, so what are the problems? Like, what's the trouble that my people often have? Or what is it that my people need to hear today? That's actually the literal thing that I think about. It's like, what is the thing that my people need to hear today? So sometimes that can be a little bit like, it can be a bit subjective. I know that people are always looking for, my people anyway, are always looking for inspiration, motivation, and nuance. They're looking for the thing that is going to make their life easier, right? And that might be about creating content. It might be about being media ready. It might be about writing a book. It might be about getting PR. It might be around having the confidence to create video, to go do Facebook Lives, whatever it happens to be. There are so many things that I know that my audience wants. And so it's like, all right, well, what do my people need to hear today? And so then you can go out there and create that with that person in mind, right? So in order to do that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, okay, so number one is to think of a person who you could talk to every day. Not like, it might be like a literal conversation that you have, but, generally, it's like, all right, so who's someone that you could talk to every day, and give them a name. All right, so it might be Sarah or Rachel or Sandra or whatever, Bianca, like whatever their name is. What is their name? Give them an age. Now, the reason that I like to give people an age is that it helps you to create a mental image of a person, of an actual human in your head, right? So we can all imagine that like Nicole Kidman, okay? So if your niche was Nicole Kidman, you could easily go, okay, so what does Nicole need to hear today? And you'd get a mental image in your head of her, and then go, oh, I know what I can tell her. I can do this to motivate her. I can say this to inspire her. I could share this to get her moving. Or I've just discovered this latest little trick or hack, or another way of being able to articulate your thinking, or a way of doing something, and then you'll go and share that. So it just kind of like bypasses, hey Jade, it can kind of bypass the overwhelm and the often the overwhelm and the confusion that can kick in. It's like, God, what the heck am I going to post today? What the heck am I going to talk about? So give them a name, give them an age. If you've got the age of someone in your head, it's like I was saying, like, hey, Jess, like a 35-year-old woman compared to an 18-year-old guy, compared to a 65-year-old mother of 3, they're at different life moments, if you like. So generally speaking, like we're talking generally. So typically, in your 20s, you're it's a different kind of lifestyle. It's a different way of communicating. In your 30s, it's a little bit of a different thing that you go through. In your 40s, it's a bit of a different thing that you'll go through. So in order to create rapport, we need to understand who your people are, right? So think of the person that you could talk to every day, give them a name. I'm typing this into the comments so you can look at it later. Give them an age. You need to then know, their problems, frustrations, goals, dreams, and desires. And I would draw a diagram not dissimilar to this, okay? Where I know it's inside out, back to front, whatever it is, reversed. Problems, do this, but actually do this big gap, right? Because that way we know where they're at and where they're going, okay? Now, what you want your content to do, and this is why it becomes really helpful. Oh my gosh, and you need to, I typed into the chat and there was the most ridiculous amount of spelling mistakes. It wasn't even funny. Problems, frustrations, that's better. All right, I'm gonna put that in there so that you can see that now. Jess, I've been working on this lately to really clarify my message. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. It's really so important. It's just so important. So we work all of that out. Okay, I'm going to pin that there. And then we go and create content. So when you're creating content with this type of knowledge, we've got our multifaceted person that's got all of these different things going on in their world, right? They might have children or no children. They might have friends or no friends. They might be incredibly happy or depressed, or whatever the case might be. There's lots of polar opposites that you can add into a disco ball, right? Multifacets. And then you've got to work on their problems, their goals, dreams, and desires. And then you create content. And here's looking for a different color pen that I don't have. What we want to then do is create content that bridges the gap. Hello, Sean. Hope you're fabulous. Having lunch. Okay, so we've got the problems that your people have. We've got their goals, dreams, and desires. And we need to actually bridge that gap over this way, right? So that we're creating the content that bridges the gap. So that might be a piece of advice, like the live stream today. Yeah, I'm just gonna go like that because the mirroring drives me freaking crazy. So you create the content that fills the gap. So like case in point, today I know that niching is a conversation and there's a whole bunch of fear and, you know, what if I cut out half of my market or rah-de-rah-de-rah? Then this is what I've done to bridge the gap between the fear and overwhelm and the misinformation around niching to helping you, your goal, one of your goals, maybe not Sean because he's my daughter's boyfriend, but you know, the goals, dreams, and desires are, your goals, dreams, and desires are to create content effortlessly that connects with your audience. The problem is that there is so much information out there that it feels so complex and overwhelming, and so then you don't create anything. So the content today, the Facebook Live today, bridges the gap between the problem and the goal. I know that will make sense. So that's really what you need to do. So, you know, in terms of like even ad targeting when it comes to creating ads, if you go down that track, you're not just going to create an ad and set the target market in that ad to a 35-year-old woman with 2 children. Because I know that there will be things that you put out, like different pieces of content that you put out that will connect with maybe a 28-year-old person who is a really progressive thinker. Or maybe it'll connect with a 71-year-old lady who really wants those goals, dreams, and desires as well to be fulfilled. It doesn't mean that you're going to say, sorry, I can't work with you. You don't fit, you're not 35 with 2 children. You don't fit within my niche, right? It just gives you the ability to start to build conversation in your head, which then translates into marketing material for you. So that's that. I trust that that's helpful for you. If you've got any questions about that, let me know. Jess has said everything is flowing so quickly now. Yeah, I'm not surprised. If you're really in that mindset of going, all right, you know, if I was talking to you, for example, or you know, wanting you in something, I'm like, okay, well, what would Jess need to hear today? You know, what does Jess need to learn today? How can I support her? How can I address a problem and create content that fixes that problem or helps you to see that there is a solution? So today's live, for example, I've got nothing to sell. I actually don't have anything to sell. I am still building out. It's really freaking awesome. I'm still building out this new program that I'm going to share with you probably tomorrow now. Fleshing that out. But you know, there are some days where we sell stuff as part of our part of our marketing and as part of our posts and as part of our Facebook lives and live streams and Instagram TVs and all of that. And then other days it's just like it's not appropriate to sell anything, so you won't, right? So it's not always about going out there asking for the sale, but more about thinking, okay, so get rid of the niching. That I think that niche word is a problem, actually. Get rid of that word and just be thinking all the time, well, what do my people need to hear today? What is the big problem that they have? Or what is a goal and dream and desire that they have that I can help them either solve or achieve? Let me put that in there. What is a problem that I can solve or a goal, dream, desire that I can help them to fulfill? All right. So that's in there in those comments now. So let me know how you go with that. Let me know if you have any questions about that, because this is one of my most favorite things. I like talking about all of the things. It's not even my most favorite, but it is one that I love talking about because there's so much misinformation out there and a whole lot of confusion. So I trust that has dispelled that myth for you and really helped you with the content creating. Have a really awesome Tuesday, and I will chat with you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.